So this is obviously a very a special day because we're doing this official opening of this facility, but it's also a very solemn day in the history of our country. So anything that we do today, it would be remiss if we didn't honor those first responders and those civilians that gave their lives 23 years ago. You know, what I remember, I was looking this morning and it seemed like the sky, 23 years ago, the sky was much more blue, if you guys remember that. It just seems like it was a very, very vivid blue. It was a clear day like today, but it was a little bit hazy this morning. That's the thing I remember most, is how blue the sky was. So that morning, as you all know, that started like any other day. In the span of about 3 hours, everything changed, and the world changed in about 3 hours. Today, like every other September 11th since then, we pause to remember, to honor, and to reflect on the events of September 11th, 2001, but we're here for a dual purpose also. This also marks the beginning of a new chapter for first responders in Findlay and Hancock County. This is a day that reminds us of the sacrifices made, the heroes who stood in the face of danger, and the resilience of those who continue to serve. Among the nearly 3,000 lives lost that day, 343 were firefighters, 72 were law enforcement officers. All of those folks ran towards the danger knowing that their mission was to save lives, even at the risk of losing their own. Those brave men and women remind us of the true meaning of service and sacrifice and of courage. We honor their memory today, not just with words, but by continuing their legacy in how we train, how we prepare, and how we serve our communities. That's why today is such a fitting day for a ribbon cutting and an official opening of this event, or this facility. What's often not discussed about 9/11 is the countless acts of bravery, service, and sacrifice by civilians that day. These were normal people helping others escape or providing assistance to those who were hurt. So at this time, we'll honor all those lives lost. And we'll do that through a ceremony called Tolling of the Bells, or the 555 bell ceremony. In the early days of firefighting, a bell would signal the beginning and end of a shift or announce an emergency. Each cadence meant something different. In the most solemn of moments, the bell would toll a sequence of 5 rings, repeated 3 times, what we now know as 555, to honor a firefighter, to inform others that one had died in the line of duty. Today, we'll toll that bell in remembrance of all those lost on 9/11 and to honor all those who have fallen in service of others. So I'll ask Assistant Chief Brian Sanders to come up. let's use this brief moment of silence to remember those we lost and to renew our commitment to each other, to serving others with honor and integrity. Thank you. Honor guard, you're dismissed. Thank you all for participating in that. That means something, and it's important that we do that. And it's important that we remember. Now, we'll talk about the Strict Center. And unfortunately for all of you, I can talk about this all day. I will try to keep it brief, even though it'll be difficult. I tried to jot some thoughts down, and frankly, it's going to fall short. It's going to fall short of how much effort has been put into this, the importance of it for our community, our fire department, all of our public safety professionals here in the county. But this event is really the culmination of just tons of work and support from countless people. The support from the community has been fantastic. It's hard to put into words. So this whole thing started as a very simple idea to replace a very small wooden training tower that was out here by our training pond. We had an idea to replace that with a very simple burn building, and that was really as much as we had thought about. What that simple idea turned into was a multi-building facility. It's about $2.5 million and about 6.5 years of our lives. So, initially the discussion was just within the Findlay Fire Department. We had limitations on how we could train, where we could train, budget, sending first responders out of town to accomplish training. We were fortunate for a while because for flood mitigation, this area was tearing down a lot of flood-prone housing. And we were able to use that for hands-on training. But we could see the end of that was coming pretty soon. So we wanted to build something that was more permanent, that we could train in more reliably, more consistently. At the same time we were thinking about that internally, we also realized that the fire departments scattered throughout Hancock County had the same, if not more, limitations on training than the Findlay Fire Department did. So that caused us to expand our vision a little bit. The first group outside of the city of Findlay or the Findlay Fire Department that we approached was the Hancock County Firefighters Association. I remember going to one of the meetings and had printed out some plans of a very basic burn building where we could conduct live fire training. It was extremely simple in hindsight. But the basic question was to them, if the city of Findlay would build this burn building, would they find value in it? Would they use it? Do they see the benefit of it? And every single department within the county, it was like a unanimous and immediate yes. And I remember one of the officers from Macomb said, "We've needed something like this in Hancock County for a long time." So that caused us to look at the whole project a little bit different as well. Almost tripped on a gigantic pair of scissors back here. Got some EMTs and paramedics back there, thank goodness. So it caused us to kind of look a little bit differently at our project that we initially were just thinking about ourselves. After we had that buy-in, we went to the Findlay Police Department, Hancock County Sheriff's Office, and asked if they would find value in some sort of training building. And they immediately saw the benefit as well. So we started looking at different ideas on on how to build in training props that would benefit cops, deputies, canine handlers, SWAT personnel, all that law enforcement centric type of training scenarios. So our ideas expanded a little bit more. Now, nobody in the Findlay Fire Department had ever been part of designing a training facility from the ground up. Like, we had no idea where to start. So we knew from the beginning that we would have a burn building. That's where the whole concept started. Live fire training is difficult to accomplish in acquired structures. It's a lot easier if you have a dedicated burn building. So we knew that was going to be a part of it, but we also knew there were other things that we could do that would be impactful and make it more beneficial for us and for everybody. So we created a small design group consisting of Findlay Fire Department personnel. We decided to go all around the state, and we visited about a dozen different training facilities across the state. Each one, we were gathering ideas. We asked them things like, what would you do differently? What are the limitations that you have even with your training facility? And we were gathering notes the entire time. We knew that we had one shot to get this right, and we needed to learn from the experience of others. We went all over the state, from the Ohio Fire Academy. We went to Athens, we went to Wayne County, we went to Dayton, to Dublin. We literally went all over the state. So from all those ideas, we refined our initial concept, and our concept, honestly, it expanded a little bit more. One important item we kept hearing from all of those places is that weather has a really big impact on how often a training facility is used. At this time, we were still thinking about some sort of external burn building, and that was pretty much it. But we found out from those places that it's bad weather. We don't train in our burn building that much. We don't want to subject it to freezing and thawing and do live fire training in the middle of the winter. So we were up at Owens Community College in Toledo, and we realized they had this massive building. And we realized that the ability to have a climate-controlled training environment is important for people in our neck of the woods so we can train year-round. So we took that idea from there. At another one, we saw the importance of a search house, which is sitting behind you. The importance of a search house because law enforcement, fire, and EMS, you can train on tactics in a cleaner environment than you can in a burn building. A burn building gets very dirty from all the soot and just the wear and tear. So having a climate-controlled environment and a search house kind of became part of our project. Once we had decided on a two-building concept, and this was interesting. I remember being in our old classroom up at Station 4, Mayor Mern was there, and we were like whiteboarding these ideas, like how do we even accomplish all this stuff? We're like, hey, let's have two different buildings. Let's build a big one and then build a training prop the size of the house inside it, and then we'll have a burn building. And one of the questions from our personnel was, what is our budget? And I said, let's pretend like we don't have a budget. Let's just identify what we need, and then we'll figure out how to accomplish it. So once we decided on the two-building concept, we refined the idea. For a burn building, you essentially have three options. You can pour a concrete structure, you can build a cinder block structure, or you can use fabricated shipping containers. After visiting all those training facilities across the state, we found the benefits of a container building to be the best option for us. We also wanted to integrate technical rescue things into this facility. The most cost-effective way for us to do that was to incorporate a lot of those in our burn building as well. You can construct a rappelling tower a lot easier by standing a 40-foot shipping container on end than you can by building a 5-story freestanding structure. So we incorporated that into the burn building. In the training building, which we're in now, we had already laid out plans to hold the search house. We then incorporated a classroom, restrooms, and shower facilities, plus a storage mezzanine that's up behind me. Then really came the big question is, this is awesome. This is really cool. How in the heck are we going to pay for it, right? So during this entire time, we were having discussions, we were building support for the project. the support we received from the city administration, it was, you can't overstate how important that is. If the city administration didn't support this idea, it wouldn't go anywhere. And this concept, this project, started in one administration and it went to another. So there's a lot of potential pitfalls in a scenario like that. And when our project starts getting longer and longer, you've got the regular budget cycles and you've got ups and downs. So there's a whole lot of pitfalls. Not to mention we had a global pandemic in the middle of it, and I really thought that was going to put an end to it. We realized that funding could be difficult, but we also realized the generosity and the support of this community. So, after talking with the administration, we decided on a limited fundraising campaign from the public, and simply put, the financial community support was unbelievable. And a lot of you here are part of that. There's a lot of people here that are representatives of our donors, whether they're individuals or whether they're corporations. So I want to thank you all. I can't thank you enough. And really, this project turned into, you've heard them talk about the Findlay formula. So in this particular project, it really embodies all that. We took public money, we took private money, and we took nonprofit money, and we combined all those to create something that will benefit everybody. So it's just really something. The project would not have been possible without the support of so many people. I'm not going to attempt to list everybody because I'll miss them. But there are some. First, City of Findlay administration, Mayor Murn and Safety Director Martin have made this project as vital as every other project that's out there. When I first heard Mayor Murn mention the Strict Center in her first State of the City address, I knew we were onto something, and I knew it would be tough for her to backtrack from that statement.
I did give him a budget, though.
Yeah, and we went right past it. We busted something. So, the previous administration, Mayor Mahalik, Safety Director Paul Schmelzer, Paul's here today, they supported it from the beginning, and without their support, it would have never got off the ground. The county firefighter support has been instrumental. I can't overstate that either. That was more of a grassroots support that spread the word about this idea, this project, spread the support really countywide. Other agencies did the same, Findlay PD, Sheriff's Office, Hanco EMS. Everybody really came together for it. Findlay City Council has been supporting this idea from the first time it was pitched to them. They picked up on the tangible benefits of this thing right away. They've been supporting it financially and publicly since its inception. They even incorporated this into the long-term strategic plan. And for city council members that are here, I'm hopeful that this is the first thing that we can check off that list. So I was really happy to see that. Internal support from the Findlay Fire Department is tough to put into words for all you guys back there. Some very specific people I need to point out for their help. First, Assistant Chief Brian Sanders. He's been vital at every step of this project. So thank you, Brian. He attended every subcontractor meeting we had during construction. He's taken the lead on almost everything inside this building. Single-handedly built a lot of the props that make this a really one-of-a-kind facility. We knew we had this event coming up, and I basically told him, hey man, your work day is gonna be out here. Like, no offense, I didn't want to see him at the office. I needed him out here getting stuff done. And he's put in so many hours. He does stuff at home. It's ridiculous, the level of dedication. Whoever that is, be careful. They gotta go. The crews that are stationed out here at Fire Station 4, you know, you usually get extra assignments during your workday. they get multiple extra assignments dumped on them every morning with no warning, and it's all got to do with this. So for you guys that are stationed out here, I know we've been asking a lot, and it's over and above what is asked of everybody else. But this place wouldn't look like it does without you, so I really appreciate everything you guys do. I also wanted to point out Beth Baker. Beth is sitting over there somewhere. She's our fire department administrative assistant / office manager / therapist. And she's got a very comfy like therapist chair in there, and I'm not the only one that sits in there and like unloads all of my problems on her. There's a lot of firefighters that go through there. She's kept us on task with this project. She's kept us organized, and she's lent her creative design talents to a lot of this as well. Findlay Public Works, Findlay Engineering Department, they both had a very, very large hand in this, so I want to thank them as well. And finally, the public, especially those who have contributed financially, whether it's a family or whether it's an organization. This would not have happened without you. Our individual donations for this project range from $150,000 from one family down to $1,000 from a guy who walked into the auditor's office and wrote a check. Like, in everything in between. And it's every organization from the largest publicly traded ones in town to labor unions to nonprofits. It is literally every corner of this community that has contributed to this project. So I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. This facility this has the ability to really be a game changer for Findlay and Hancock County. So I want to thank all of you. As I told you, I can speak all day on this, so I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to introduce State Fire Marshal Kevin Reardon to say a few words. So thank you all again.
Mayor and Chief, thank you for inviting us to be with you here today. This is such a great facility and a great moment. I love hearing the history on this. If I could create things throughout the state, this would definitely be one of them in every corner. It goes without saying that training saves lives. It really does. Saves lives of your citizens, saves lives of firefighters, police officers, everybody. It saves lives. Unfortunately, the fire service has a nasty habit of, in budget times that are rough, guess what gets cut? Training. And everywhere I've seen that happen in my 4-decade plus career in the fire service, every time and everywhere I see that happen, they pay the ultimate price in a very bad and very sad way. So I commend you for taking this step. This is such a magnificent facility, and the fact that it brings everybody together. We can't get everybody together all over the state, but you've done it. So once again, I congratulate you. I really do. We are embarking upon, Chief mentioned our Ohio Fire Academy. We've got a facility that's a little over 50 years old that has not been maintained the way that it should have over time. So we sympathize with the construction issues and the planning and the getting into your mindset how this is really going to work, because I'm sure you wanted it to just be approved and built the next day like I did. That's just not what happens. But I want to take a moment to introduce our Chief Deputy State Fire Marshal, Rick Sluter. He's the number 2, and many of you may or may not know, he's actually from just up the road in Wauseon, and from what we can tell, he is the first Chief Deputy State Fire Marshal for the state of Ohio from Northwest Ohio.
Thank you, Marshall, and thank you, City of Findlay, for inviting us up here. This is great to see, because I can tell I got a law enforcement background, retired as a local fire chief and mayor, public safety department here. You guys get it. You need to train together. It needs to be one facility, and it works well. Also, Chief, training with your local fire departments, you get it. And that's important across the state of Ohio, and unfortunately it doesn't happen that smoothly in a lot of counties, or a lot of areas of our state. And we're trying to promote that. There's going to be a lot of good changes in volunteer fire training, Firefighter 1 training that you're going to see announced in the coming weeks from Department of EMS. And also, Findlay's been a great partner of ours, especially with our fire blast trailer and the other things we've done with you guys over the years. Your cadets come to our facility, and it's always a great experience, and we really appreciate Findlay's support of our organization, and we'll always be here to support you. And one thing we'll be looking forward to is being able to get some Ohio Fire Academy classes up here to help you guys out, because you guys always help us out. But, thank you again. Awesome facility.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. For the record, if you're paying attention to who's talking, guest speaker means I was the audible. So I don't have a lot prepared, and honestly, if you've been paying attention, what is yet to be said that hasn't already been said? I mean, this is just a remarkable facility. There's been a lot of great effort put in. So I'd just like to share a couple things that I remember through this process. Back in 2018, I remember Chief Eberle coming to my office. My previous role, I was EMS chief in the local community. And I remember him, you know, just how he does. He's like, hey man, what do you think about this idea? I'm like, this is great. And then fast forward, then I remember being at the chief's meeting here at Station 4, and he's like, I got an idea. And he just starts rolling out the papers, and it's just continued to gain traction, and over, and the support from the community, support from the local firefighters, it's just been remarkable. Couldn't be more proud of this. And as we moved through this over the years, there were different things that happened that made us realize that this was the right thing to do. Everyone here has gotten the message that training is pivotal in what we do for coordinated effort in a single response or mutual aid response. Muscle memory is crucial. Minutes matter, and for these individuals that are responding, it's crucial no matter what uniform or what vehicle is responding. We all know who's going to do what to make sure we're doing our job. We spend time, hours and hours and hours actually planning for training. We had one up in Allen Township pre-COVID, years disappear, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. It was at Whirlpool. We did an active shooter response, and Whirlpool was generous enough to shut down manufacturing for 4 hours for us to actually run a play in their manufacturing suite. We spent months training for that. We've spent months planning for that. And when the day came, we had everyone there, mutual aid, city, county, EMS, everyone responded. We ran the play like we said we were going to. The great thing was we were done running the play, and we learned so much from running that play that we wanted to run it again. And we couldn't run it again because they're like, oh, we got to get manufacturing back in place, which we understood. So having a place like this that we can train, we can run the play, we can learn from how we ran it, and we can make it better for the next time when we don't have time to change or adjust. It's crucial to have that, and this is what this is going to provide our community. It's pivotal. Coming from a healthcare background, having the ability to practice your trade and have a place where you can fail safely, so when it comes down to when you actually respond and it really matters to the individuals that you're treating or the structure you're protecting, that's crucial. So this gives our responders in our community and our region a safe place to fail, which is crucial, and it's going to make us better in the future. So thank you for the previous administration, Mayor Mahalik and Safety Director Schmelzer, for starting this and believing in this. Thank you for Mayor Mern from putting it over the finish line. Chief, your vision and your perseverance and your perhaps stubbornness got this done. And congratulations for that, because it's something you should be proud of. So thank you.
I think I might call an audible, if that's fine. I will let you do your quick remarks, but then I would actually like us to figure out a way to be in front of the house, and I would love as many people as possible to be in the photo, because though there's a great group of people that are here to cut the ribbon, these are really the people that made it happen. And so we will try to have the photo from here, and we will all stand as much as possible in front of the house. Safety first, though, so there are some rubber markers or barriers around the grass. Please do not trip on them. All right, with that, I will hand it over to Doug.
Thank you very much, Scott County Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Chamber as well as the Alliance, I just want to introduce you to the five folks in the red jackets over here are chamber ambassadors. They represent several businesses and organizations who are chamber members. In the day and age where we often fall short of who we were in the days after September 11th, this is a group that is just so overwhelmingly positive about what's happening in the community. I refer to them as our unofficial word of mouth committee for the community because they talk. And we've got a lot of great things to talk about from the things that we get to go to. This for sure falls into that bucket. So, Chief, thank you for having us out today. I apologize for putting that in an unsafe place there for you. Appreciate you not falling on that. With that said, I said we cut this ribbon, so let's all head back that way.
Thank you.
With that, Grace George, our co-chairs, has just a brief proclamation to read.
This certificate of acknowledgement reads, the Chamber of Commerce Ambassadors congratulate the City of Findlay and the Strict Center for its investment and interest in the Findlay and Hancock County community on this 11th day of September 2021. Chief Rob, but don't put him in the middle. On the outside. Ready? 1.